And a big good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Tuesday night. You know where you should be, and that's right here on Gantry TV. It's the RTA Virtual Motorsports Championships, Motorsport.ie RTA Mustang Cup, and we are here live on Daytona Beach at Daytona International Speedway. A very different circuit compared to last week and compared to previous seasons here in RTA. My name's Evan Dalton. It's a pleasure to be joining you tonight. I'm solo once again, but we do, of course, have the fabulous Ronan Hederman behind the scenes, and he'll be jumping in throughout the night once again. What a race we had! What races, I should say, we had last week in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Dylan McClements winning Heat 1, Heat 2, and Heat 3 in absolute fabulous form. He was on another level and will be looking to repeat that form tonight here on Daytona Beach. But in terms of the championship, last week was a huge shake-up because we had problems for both Oscar Mangan and Jordan Kelly. Oscar does still lead the championship, only by 5 points over Sean McGoldrick in second. In third, then is Dylan McClements, who had that 90-point week. Jordan Kelly is then in fourth. Sean McClements in fifth position, ahead of Evan Walsh, tied with Rory O'Shea in sixth, and it's Ronan Doherty in eighth spot. And then Tony Stack just 2 points ahead of Jamal Andor in ninth and 10th. In terms of the B Championship then, folks, we had not as much of a shuffle up as the A Championship. It is still Stuart Brereton who leads that one, I should say. Rich Murphy in second. Grace McCallion has bumped herself up to third. Gary Corcoran in fourth and Aaron Dalton in fifth position. So not much of a change for those in the B Championship, but certainly in the A Championship, we had an absolute incredible week. Dylan McClements, as we said, taking the win in every heat. Sean McGoldrick taking 2 podiums. Almighty defensive performance from Sean in that battle with Oscar Mangan in the battle for second in heat number 2. If you were watching last week, folks, you'll remember just how good that one was. If you haven't, after we're done with tonight's action, make sure you go and check that one out. Speaking of Sean McGoldrick, what a drive he had in Montreal, and what a drive he's had all season. Sean McGoldrick has not finished below 5th once in any heat. That's not just last week or the week before. That is all 3 rounds this season in Willow Springs, Circuit of the Americas, and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, of course. Currently 5th here in practice for tonight's rounds, so he'll be looking to produce something similar. Ronan Doherty back for this week. He didn't race, of course, in Canada, so that will be his drop round when we calculate that towards the end of the season. Yet we're all dreading calculating drop rounds, but Ronan's will be fairly easy to do. He's currently quickest in practice ahead of Jordan Kelly and Dylan McClements in third. Bit of mixed feelings coming into this one tonight. Some drivers excited for potential melees down the back straights and on the tri-oval. Some drivers not really looking forward to the tow, and some even saying there's no tow. So it's a bit of mixed opinions coming into the night. The man alongside me for this one, Ronan Hederman, it's a very different race than last week. What's your thoughts coming into this one? Because you're usually fairly spot on with how races are going to go.
I don't know about that, Evan, to be honest, but yeah, knowing the guys is normally my kind of insight there, where they sit. I would say your top 3 there is where the battles are going to lie. I would think, and I'm going to call it now, it's going to be a Ronan and Jordan Kelly fest here, unless we have some serious upsets in, say, the first corner into the road course. I can't really see much more that's going to happen there. Looking down the grid, it looks like business as usual. Oscar Mangan is in again. Apparently, no laps done this week, so we'll see. It's going to be a toss-up, I think.
Yep, Oscar Mangan not getting much practice in, although this Oscar Mangan not getting much practice in seems like when Red Bull were slow in free practice 1 in 2022's Formula 1 season. It seems something similar to that, where you can always expect him to kind of be up the front anyways. Kevin Joyce is probably wishing that this was qualifying and not just practice, because he's in a very healthy fourth. We'll have to see if that pace does transfer into the qualifying session that is coming up literally just now. Practice has just ended. Drivers will be allowed to finish their laps, unlike qualifying. Looking a little bit further down the order, a lot of familiar names here from this season. Evan Walsh currently in 12th. He was happy to sneak a podium last week after he threw it away in the middle chicane in Montreal, but did manage to take it back after Oscar Mangan's mistake just a couple of laps later. But a fabulous Daytona International Speedway that you can see on your screens now, folks. You can see a large lake in the middle of the circuit. The infield here, 180 acres large, and it could fit Disneyland twice in the infield. So a little bit of a random fact there. That lake we were looking at is the 29-acre Lake Lloyd, and that's actually where the dirt for the bankings was digged from back when they were first building the circuit in 1957. The dirt for the bankings is from that lake, so it's actually a complete man-made lake, although you couldn't tell by how straight the lines are on it. But yeah, it's a man-made lake completely. We're looking at the drivers just coming out for the start of their hot laps here into this sort of Roval section of the circuit. The sports car course is 3.56 miles, or 5.729 kilometers in new money. It is significantly longer than the oval, but that's what you can expect. 12 corners. The lap record here was set in the 2022 Rolex 24 Hours by IndyCar world champion, IndyCar champion, not world champion, Alex Palou in the DPI machinery, the last year of that. We're going to take a bit of a closer look then at the circuit here at Daytona International Speedway, as the fabulous Jordan Kelly, as always, has provided us with his take on the circuit tonight. So we're going to ride on board with the previous season's champion in towards turn number one. You take a wide line, but you do try get as close to the apex of the corner. No curb on the inside can throw a few drivers off. Then it's in towards turn number two and down towards the International Horseshoe, one of 3 hairpins on this infield section. Rotate the car nicely, and then you want to get as much traction as early as possible, because you can run technically off the circuit on that outside of the corner. Then it's in towards the dog leg of turn number 4, flat out here through the left-hander. You're looking to pick your braking zone about halfway along that exit road in towards turn number 5, which is the west horseshoe. Down towards turn number 6 and 7, then this is the entry section onto the tri-oval. The second time you're on the tri-oval here on this lap. Get as much of that curb on the inside and then try straight line the throttle out of the corner. You can see Jordan just sliding in the middle of that and just caressing it out nicely. Get as low to the apron as you can, just as you would if you were driving a NASCAR around here in the Daytona 500. I'm going to minimise the line in towards the tri-oval. Keep an eye for the braking boards, which are up on the catch fence on the right-hand side, because, of course, there's no runoff in towards this section. This is the bus stop, or newly renamed the Le Mans chicane, but everyone knows it as the bus stop. You have to try cut as much of that corner as possible without picking yourself up a 1x penalty. Jordan doing a very good job of it. That's probably one of the smoothest runs we're going to see through the bus stop tonight. Then it is the long sweeping turn number 9 down towards the start finish line. Run as close as you can to that yellow line and across the start finish line, and that is your hot lap here of Daytona. Just because we like to slander other sims other than iRacing on this broadcast, on the Gran Turismo game, which isn't a sim by any stretch of the imagination, if you run that yellow line towards the final corner, it actually gives you a Mario Kart-esque speed boost. So don't go play this track on Gran Turismo, folks. Here is Jordan Kelly, though, heading through that final corner, looking to complete his first qualifying lap of the session. We have no major times on the board yet. Jordan will be the first to set one. You can see purple in that first sector. Sean McGoldrick beating him in the third sector. Jordan Kelly sets the benchmark then for the rest of them to beat. Dylan McClements goes in second. Tommy Nukaran in third. That's as you would expect for the time being. Peter McCann pipping Colin Carrigan by 0.8 of a second across the start-finish line. There's Philip Upson just slotting into 7th. Hutchings behind in 8th. We still have a lot of drivers yet to set their lap. Very early days here in qualifying. It is a longer lap, as we've grown used to so far this season in the Mustang Cup. So not many attempts here in qualifying. Here's your championship leader then, Oscar Mangan, who we are currently looking at. He'll be well used to this circuit, of course, finishing 3rd in GTP in the IMSA Esports Series in 2023. First race of the IMSA season, it's here at the Daytona International Speedway. So Oscar Mangan is going to cross the start-finish line. Is he going to go quicker than Jordan Kelly? Yes, he is. Quickest of the session so far for Oscar Mangan. That is a 1:54.7, I believe, for the Irishman. Tommy Nukaran you can see, no, sorry, that's not Tommy Newkern actually, just in front of him. Tommy Newkern way up the road. Here's Tommy Newkern just heading down towards the bus stop. That is another orange coloured car. Tommy Newkern running the livery of Black Horse Sim Racing, a team he joined in 2022. That's that sort of orange and black checkered livery, which almost looks like a chessboard gone wrong, but that is why Tommy is running that car, and he is very quick tonight compared to previous weeks. We'll be looking for a strong result if qualifying can go as it is, because we've got 18 laps on the board, only 3 drivers quicker than him for now. Nathan Healy gone 13th, Ryan Smith 14th, Kevin Joyce in 15th, then it's Aaron Dalton, Rich Murphy and Grace McCallion. Here's Sean McClements coming towards the start-finish line. How robbed was he in Montreal? Lap traffic getting in his way and causing himself and Rory O'Shea to have a bit of an incident. He goes 5th, Brian McCarthy improves to 7th. You can see Ronan Doherty coming towards the start-finish line now. We expect him to go somewhere close to Oscar Mankin and Jordan Kelly. Doherty up and across the start-finish line. Oh no. So something's happened in that lap for Ronan Doherty, because he was way quicker in practice. 14th for now for him. He'll be looking to improve in the latter stages of the session. Still a couple of drivers yet to set times, those being John McDonald, Ian May, Sean McGoldrick and Lawrence de Soswa. Here's Jamal Gandor up towards the start-finish line. A man on good form is Jamal. He's finished in the top 10 in all 3 heats twice this season. Did it in the opening round in Willow Springs and did it last week in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Circuit of the Americas wasn't the best week for him, but we can skip over that one as he probably wants us to. Brian McCarthy, you can see here in 6th position, running a yellow and black Mustang movie. What's that movie? Is it Transformers that he looks like? I can't remember the character's name. Oh yeah, Ronan is telling me, yeah, it is. Is it Bumblebee? I want to say it's Bumblebee. Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm correct, seemingly. Yeah, Bumblebee from Transformers. That's what we're calling Brian McCarthy's livery here tonight. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him, heading in towards the turn number 10 bus stop, which is technically 3 corners, but on the track maps they only call it 2. That would annoy myself and Kieran McGinley if he was alongside me. We hope to have Kieran back soon. But yeah, at least they didn't put letters after. That's another pet peeve of ours. There's Ian May up and across the line. He jumps up to a very healthy 7th position. That's a great job indeed by Ian May, running a gold and black car here for tonight. I can't remember if he was in that livery in previous weeks, but certainly that is one that does catch the eye. Let's have a closer look at it as he heads in towards the International Horseshoe. Just pips Brian McCarthy, who we were looking at previously. Tommy Newkern just building up for a lap, it seems. He's not gone quickest. There goes Ronan Doherty. That's a little bit more what we expect. Doherty into 3rd and instantly bails into the pit lane. Sean McGoldrick has gone 4th. He is in a very suitable livery tonight here in Daytona International Speedway. Don't worry, there's no joking coming like Kevin would like to hop on as he did in Circuit of the Americas. But currently it's Oscar Mankin quickest in first with a 1:45.7. Then it is Jordan Kelly a tenth of a second behind himself and Ronan on very equal footing, both setting 1:45.8. Then Sean McGoldrick a little bit back on the 46 flat. Dylan McClements then on a 46.1. Here is Kelly, who we are looking at once again, heading in towards the bus stop and on towards the back straight. Bit of a slipstream here potentially for Jordan Kelly. Tonight would be the perfect night for the 2 McClements brothers to tow each other, but I don't think they are doing it. They did it at some pointless rounds last season where a slipstream wasn't necessary. They're going to be hoping to do it here tonight. That's actually one of the McClements brothers right behind Jordan Kelly, I think. So clearly he has better ideas. It looked like a Team DDR car, or yeah, it's still a McClements. I knew that it was a Team DDR livery because it's very similar to what he's ran in previous seasons. It's Dylan, who took all 3 rounds last week. Jordan Kelly will be looking to stop that though, and he's just improved upon his qualifying time. Literally just in front of Dylan. So Dylan got a first-hand look at that one. He has now pipped Oscar Mangan. So Oscar being demoted to 3rd, but is on an outlap. Jordan doesn't fancy giving Dylan a bit of a tow anymore. Pulls out of the way. Here's Sean McGoldrick, who did set a personal best in the first sector. Wasn't an overall best. He does improve upon his time, but it's actually not enough to get close to Ronan Doherty. Wasn't able to do so. He'll pull out of the way as Evan Walsh circles back round. Here's Peter McCann heading towards the banked star finish line as well. There'll be no improvement there on his lap and out lap in that VRA livery. This is the only man who's not set a time then, and it is Lawrence de Soswa, who tried a last to first last week. He didn't get anywhere near first, unfortunately, so I believe he's looking for some redemption here tonight. He is out on the track trying to qualify, unlike in the Circuit of the Americas. He had a bit of a spin in heat number 3, and in the words of Peter McCann, became an example of what not to do when you spun. He unfortunately drove back into the wall, broke off his front bumper, and that was the end of the night for LD. He's across the start-finish line now, hasn't actually jumped up the order just yet, but has got an official lap on the board. Here's Jordan Kelly, who is back on an outlap. We have 4.5 minutes to go in qualifying for this evening's action at Daytona International Speedway. Make sure you get your thoughts on tonight's action in any of the various stream chats. Folks, of course, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course on Motorsport.ie. It's a pleasure to have you wherever you are watching. We would appreciate if you did subscribe to Gantry TV as well as RTA, of course, because I'm sure you're enjoying the action so far. But the action hasn't even really got started. Qualifying, not going to be the most important thing as it is on any of the weeks, but qualifying, unlike the GT4 Cup, no, sorry, we didn't do the GT4 Cup last season, that was 2 seasons ago. The Super Formula Lights, qualifying isn't as important. No pole sitter has won the opening heat in any race this season. Jordan Kelly won almost all of them from pole last season, so it's a little bit different, but he took pole in Montreal and didn't even finish in the top 10 because of that VR headset issue. And towards turn number 1, Evan Walsh now sits 12th here in qualifying. There was no improvement on his last lap, but he did improve on one of the previous laps. Tommy Newkran's initial lap here in qualifying is staying up there in 6th position. You can see him just in front of Evan Walsh. There's not many beating that time, so that's a real confidence booster for the Finnish driver, who has a long history in RTA Virtual Motorsport. He would love to take a win here or even just a podium, or even just the top 5 at this point. Kevin Joyce does improve to 5th position. As you can see, 1:45.936 the lap time for Kevin Joyce. He just pips Sean McGoldrick. Sean, who we spoke about being so consistent so far this season, and he certainly would love to just take that race win that he hasn't managed to take. Sean doesn't often take race wins, but is a regular feature on the podium. Oscar Mangan, purple in the 2nd sector. It says on his sector split, though, he's on a 4-minute lap time, but I'm not sure if that's true in the slide as he crossed the start-finish line, and there it is. Pole position for Oscar Mangan for now. There'll be very few attempts to beat that available to Jordan Kelly, Dylan McClements and Ronan Doherty, but Oscar Mangan, despite not having a lot of practice, or certainly not as much as he could have, he is able to go quickest and needs a big week if he wants to stay at the top of the standings, because the chasing pack has caught up on him rapidly, a lot more quicker than he maybe would have liked. Jordan Kelly, personal best in the 2nd sector, but hasn't improved in 3 and 4. Tommy Newkran improving in the 4th. No improvements whatsoever by Ronan Doherty. Here's Jordan Kelly up and across the start-finish line. Is he able to improve? No, he isn't. It's a 45.8. Here's Doherty being slipstreamed by his cousin Dylan McClements towards the start-finish line. This will help Doherty maybe down the back straight. Is he able to improve upon his time? No, I don't think so. So no improvements there, and that's Ronan Doherty's qualifying almost done, because he's ran very wide at the first corner. Whether that one's even legal, I wouldn't be too sure, but certainly he's going to have lost a lot of time with it. As you can see, sorry, that wasn't Dylan McClements in front. I've completely got the wrong car for Ronan. He is in the green and black, which is the 3rd variation of that livery. Dylan in the gold and black, and Sean in the purple and black. I, for some reason, thought Ronan had suddenly joined Team VRA. Some members of Team VRA probably wish Ronan would join, but he hasn't, unfortunately. He's still a part of that Team DDR. Oscar Mangan, purple, in sector number 1 and 2. He's looking to extend the gap even further as he heads towards heads into the pit lane, actually. Just might have made a bit of a mistake somewhere along that lap. 50 seconds to go in qualifying then. Here is Jordan Kelly's final attempt at taking pole for round number 4 here at Daytona. This is the bus stop chicane approaching into the left and right. Very nice through there indeed from Jordan Kelly. Don't think he would have picked up a 1X or any of the sorts. Seemed all good on track limits. You can take a little bit of that yellow curb on the exit, but you don't want to get too greedy. Dylan McClements is into the pit lane, so he won't play any further part. It's all down to Jordan Kelly to potentially pip Oscar Mangan here. 20 seconds to go in the session. There'll be no more attempts from Mangan and Kelly after this one. But does Jordan have enough in the tank and enough on the straights to take pole from Oscar Mangan? He absolutely does. And it's pole position for Jordan for a second week running. Unless Ronan Doherty can say something about it across the line. He's just about made it, but he won't improve. Jordan Kelly, right in the dying embers, is able to take pole, his second of the season, the first man to take two this season, and he will start in front of Oscar Mangan for heat number 1 at least. Mangan in second, then ahead of Dylan McClemens in third, Ronan Doherty in fourth, Kevin Joyce in fifth, Sean McGoldrick in sixth, ahead of Tommy Nukerin in seventh. Then it is Sean McClemens, Peter McCann, Ian May, Brian McCarthy, Evan Walsh, John McDonald, Colin Carrigan, Jamal Gandor, Simon Hutchings, David Prunty, and Philip Upson down in 18th spot, last season's B Series winner. We look a little bit further down then, it is Andrew Murphy 19th, Ryan Smith in 20th, ahead of Nathan Healy, Aaron Dalton, Grace McCallion, Rich Murphy, and Lawrence de Sousa will do last to first once again because he starts in 25th. Ronan, you said to me before the stream you think the bus stop is going to be the big problem zone here. Are we sticking with that thought?
Absolutely. Having done enough endurance races at this track and done the 24 hours here, and also broadcasting the Daytona with Lawrence de Sousa, that was one of the major points. The fact it's going to stay dry here tonight is also going to help out, but I still think that's going to be the major factor. Maybe a T1 incident or two I can imagine in the first couple of laps, but as I said, it was always going to be those three. Not many shakers in the middle. Maybe Tommy Nukerin's probably a good shout there in the middle. That's very high for him. And the likes of Evan Walsh and them falling back down kind of changes up the midfield. But again, our front runners are as per usual.
Yeah, Team Sim Consultants currently leading the Endurance Series, I want to say.
Yes, indeed.
Daytona as a whole, is it a good track to race on?
It is, yeah. It's an absolutely fantastic track to race in. The Endurance Series is excellent. It just so happened that I somehow managed to drive well in the rain.
Shocker. Certainly from, was it Sebring a couple of weeks before that? I won't ask about that one. But
why you do me dirty like that?
But we're getting ready to go. We're side by side here on the banking. It looks like it's a start to one of the many famous Daytona 500s that have taken place here. Dale Earnhardt, of course, being the big name here, despite having 20 years or so of frustration and being not able to take the win. But it's not a NASCAR race, this one, and that's probably welcomed by some. We're running the sports car course here at Daytona. Circuit started by Bill France Sr., a long esteemed history at it. And now RTA is going to have its Motorsport.ie Mustang Cup grace the asphalt of this famous cathedral of motorsport. Jordan Kelly gets us towards the bank start finish line, and now we go racing here in Florida. It's a great start by him. It's a great start by Dylan McClemens as well, who's up and alongside Jordan Kelly in towards the first corner. They're all very, very slow and safe through here. We know that carnage can sometimes happen at Daytona Turn number 1. These guys all know that as well, and they are just playing it uber cool. Dylan McClemens didn't get ahead of Ronan Doherty despite getting a better start. He just leads Sean McClemens through the International Horseshoe for the first time. The other Sean McGoldrick, hot on their heels and looking to make a move with the Star-Spangled Banner draped upon its bonnet. Jordan Kelly up and ahead in the front. We know how good he is once he's given an opportunity to stretch his legs. Oscar Mangan would have learned that over his 3 weeks here in RTA, and he wants to stick with Jordan for now, although the slipstream will make that very much possible as we head on towards the tri-oval. Evan Walsh leads Brian McCarthy in the battle for 11th spot. They'll be looking to get into the top 10 places here and and overtake Ian May. A little bit further down the field, it was fairly clean actually on the opening lap. There's not too many drastic changes. Lawrence de Sousa, your biggest gainer in the opening phase, is gaining 4 spots. Sean McClemens has gained 3 as well, in towards 5th position. In towards the bus stop for the first time. The Ford Mustang flicks through nicely. This track definitely suits it more than previous circuits. We know how difficult it was to drive in Canada in the wet. We know how difficult it was to drive in the circuit of the Americas. This circuit is definitely more friendly because it is a circuit built for endurance races. This is a car the Ford Motor Company built for endurance races. There's Sean McClemens running very high on the banking. You see Kevin Joyce and Tommy Newkeren overtaking him, and I imagine Peter McCann is going to try have a go as well because he's got a run on McClemens. Kelly able to survive in towards the first corner. Here is Peter McCann looking to go the long way around the outside. Sean McClemens, that one's not going to work. The outside line, not ideal in towards turn number 1 unless you have a definitive overspeed. Peter McCann is there in 9th. Evan Walsh looking to try and get close to his VRA teammate. Big lunge in towards the international horseshoe on Ian May, and a well-executed move indeed, that one from Evan Walsh. He got that stopped a lot better than I thought he was going to. I thought we would have had civil war in the driver's chat between Peter McCann and Evan Walsh, but it is a re-attack by Ian May looking to avenge his position, and Evan Walsh falls down into 11th briefly, but it does at the inside line for turn number 6. So I would imagine Evan Walsh is able to get this one done, and yeah, it's wide by Ian May. That actually even invites Bumblebee, Brian McCarthy, up the inside, and he's able to get the move as well. And now John Donald might even tuck into the slipstream. Well, but great exit for Ian May has kept him in play here. We will be on that, what I can only describe as a horror of an outside line for the next chicane. You don't really want to be there. You kind of want to be as single file as possible. Ian May knows that, falls behind Brian McCarthy. There is bigger fish to fry in this race than a battle for 11th, 3 minutes in to the opening heat of 3. And Ian May knows that, a mature driver, never really involved in any incidents, certainly none that I can remember this season. Although there hasn't been too many, and the penalties haven't been too high, thankfully. Oscar Mangan now going for the move in towards turn 1. A man who has picked up a penalty this season, picked up 15 points in the circuit of the Americas, and that hurt him in the championship, so he knows how crucial it is to keep squeaky clean in these RTA races. He's right on the tail of his championship rival. Kelly versus Mangan, a battle we've seen a few times so far this season. Those battles whet the appetite nicely for a longer sustained championship battle, and they're both delivering for now. Kelly running that number 1, confirming himself as the champion. He did over the previous seasons. Oscar Mangan looking to strip him of that title and prove that he is the best sim racer in Ireland, here in Ireland's premier sim racing series. If you're just joining us, you haven't missed too much action, I should say, but you're certainly going to get some. A big thanks, of course, while I remember, to our sponsors for this Mustang America's Cup, Motorsport.ie. It's a pleasure to have Leo and the crew on board to cover the series, not only on Motorsport.ie, but to also help us out by live streaming the championship over on their Facebook page. And if you don't know what Motorsport.ie is, 1, are you living under a rock, and 2, make sure you do go and check that out, as well as Gantry TV, of course. As well as, I suppose, Lawrence de Soswa's channel, if you're interested. One of our 2 designated Twitch streamers, or YouTube streamers, or TikTok streamers, is now in 18th position behind Nathan Healy, looking to do last 2 as high up as possible. We've actually had a swap for the lead as well. Jordan Kelly has ran the high line and obviously fancies running in the stream for a little bit, because he has been overtaken by both Oscar Mangan and Ronan Doherty. Speaking of Ronans, Ronan, do you have more on that one? Oh, he does, because we've cut to an instant replay. Let's have a look at this one then. What's gone wrong to Jordan Kelly? Has he cut the bus stop chicane? Oh, bit of a track, or a bit of a corner cut on the inside there. Is it a slowdown for him, Ronan?
Yeah, most definitely. For him to pull up that high, he would definitely have not conceded the place to Oscar that easy.
Yeah, I think even if he was tackling Oscar, which, I mean, I don't know what he would do, but I don't think he would have lost it to Ronan as well. So it is a slowdown for Jordan Kelly, and that's hampered his chances here in this race. It's not a long race, this heat number 1, 10 minutes to be exact. Then we have 15 minutes coming up for heat number 2 and 20 for heat number 3. But especially around Daytona International Speedway, it's only about 5-6 laps maybe. We're on lap 4, so Jordan Kelly has a bit of a task in front of him if he wants to try and win this race. What an opportunity this has opened, however, for Ronan Doherty. He's now in 2nd, right on the tail of the championship leader. It'll be his 2nd heat win of the season. He won heat 3 at Willow Springs International Raceway. Didn't race last week in the Circuit of the Americas, although the conditions would have definitely suited him on that day. A little bit of a wet weather maestro is Ronan Doherty. Lifts off in towards the bus stop, as you would kind of expect. You don't want to lose that slipstream on the back stretch and in towards turn 12. Oh, mistake for Oscar Mangan. And he's made a few of these mistakes in previous weeks that have cost him. It's turning into a cycling race, this, where the leader wants to drop to the back to just save themselves. Jordan Kelly dropped to third in the last lap. Oscar Mangan drops to third now, and Oscar's got to push it a little bit in towards this first sector to make sure he's within slipstream range of the two Northern Irish men in front of him. Doherty leads now with 7 minutes on the clock, 3 to go. Kelly in second. Oscar Mangan 1.1 behind now in third. That was a bit of a blunder in towards the exit of the bus stop chicane. We got a little bit further back. Kevin Joyce now battling with Sean McGoldrick. Sean looking to keep up this top 5 streak. As usually when I mention those statistics, they kind of fall immediately, unless your name is Alexander Mielchen with that horrifying P6 stat that he absolutely hated for me to bring up. But Sean McGoldrick looking to keep this stat going on and staying in at least 5th place for now. Ian May, once again, still battling with Brian McCarthy. This battle rages on for 11th. Evan Walsh has got a little bit up the road from it now, so he seems to be in a comfortable 10th place. McCarthy defends the inside in towards the west horseshoe of turn number 5. Ian May just sits behind for the time being, not able to make a move. Simon Hutchings is lurking like a shark in the... Oh, no, sorry, John McDonald is lurking like a shark in the water just behind this one, just waiting to pounce if something does occur in front of him. Simon Hutchings is in the grey and yellow that you can see about 1.4 seconds behind those, and Colin Carrigan in 15th. Lawrence Sosma has got past Nathan Healy since we last checked with him. He's now up to 16th spot. Up the front though, Dylan McClements under pressure from Sean McGoldrick now. Dylan, unfortunately, doesn't seem like he's going to be able to take 4 heat wins in a row unless carnage kicks off at the front of this race, which Jordan Kelly will look to avoid. There is a big gap between Jordan Kelly and Oscar Mangan now, 1.3 seconds. Jordan Kelly's tucked into the rear bumper of the Ford Mustang GT3 in front of him, and that is of Ronan Doherty. These two have even bump drafted in single-seaters before, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did the same again. Fastest lap of the race, Jordan Kelly. Slipstream has assisted with that very nicely indeed, because he was right in the toe for the majority of that lap. Kevin Joyce has been pushed offline a little bit in his battle with Sean McGoldrick. Tactical move potentially around the outside for Kevin Joyce, but it hasn't worked on this occasion. John McDonald. We said he was a shark in the water. He is now ahead of Evan Walsh, but that would make me think Evan Walsh has made some sort of mistake, because he's fallen behind Brian McCarthy as well. There's a touch between John McDonald and Evan Walsh, and they both go around. Walsh tapped round. McDonald goes around completely under his own accord, and that has hampered their good finish in this one and good starting position for the second heat. Evan Walsh, I think, might be a little bit frustrated with that when he was kind of turned across in towards the international horseshoe, but that'll be one for the stewards team to look at. Speaking of the stewards team, one of them's under pressure from Sean McClements. That's Peter McCann in the battle for 8th spot. This will be the last lap here on 6 at Daytona International Speedway in heat number 1. Ronan Doherty is being put under pressure by Jordan Kelly. We will have, I believe, one more run in. No, this is the run to the line. Sorry, they've gone through the bus stops. So this is the run to the line. Jordan, no, it's not. Here's the bus stop. Should have trusted the instincts. Here is the bus stop. And Jordan Kelly will have a better run now to potentially take the race win. Ronan Doherty needs to get creative. Will he start weaving, or will he just hug the inside line, hug the apron, as they would say stateside? He will. Kelly just doesn't seem to have enough. The toe is not the strongest in these cars, certainly not as strong as it is in Super Formula Lights, but now he just gets a bit of second wind, although it does seem like Ronan Doherty will be home and dry. He is. Ronan Doherty takes his second win of the season here in heat number 1 at Daytona. Kelly in second. Mangan comes home in third. Dylan McClements in fourth. Kevin Joyce in fifth. Oh, look at this between McClements and McCann. Sean McClements just about pips ahead, 0.010. Peter McCann loses on a run to the line again. Not unfortunately a new headline for McCann. In front, and is that Andrew Murph? No, it's John McDonald. So John losing out even more there after his spin. He's fallen behind Lawrence de Soswa. Lawrence 16th, John 17th, Prunty 18th. Murphy 19th, Upson 20th, Aaron Dalton 21st, Rich Murphy will come home 22nd ahead of Grace McCallion in 23rd, and then unfortunately poor Ryan Smith has finished the race, but he's finished it about a minute and 40 behind. Ronan, did you catch what happened to Jamal Gandor?
No, I didn't. I will have a flick through and come back to you on that.
Yeah, I didn't even notice he was gone from this one, but unfortunately Jamal's top 10 streak has ended once again very swiftly, as he's not been able to finish this race, let alone finish it in the top 10. Let's have a look then at your full race results from the first heat, and of course this is your starting grid for the second heat as well. Ronan Doherty takes the win by 0.3 of a second over Jordan Kelly. Oscar Mangan then in third, Dylan McClemens in fourth, Kevin Joyce in fifth, Sean McGoldrick in sixth, and Tommy Newcomb in the Ethan Healy in 15th, Lawrence de Salzwa 16th, have John McDonald, and then David Prunty, who John just narrowly beat to the line, in 18th spot. Andrew Murphy 19th, Philip Upson 20th, Aaron Dalton 21st, Rich Murphy in 22nd, ahead of Grace McCallion, Ryan Smith, and Jamal Gandor a little bit further behind. If you're just joining us, you're just in time for the second of 3 heats. We had an interesting first heat, but I think battles would start to kick off in this one, just like it was in Montreal. It was a little bit of a stale first heat. Heat 2 was then a defensive masterclass by Sean McGoldrick, of course, and Heat 3 was just utter chaos, really. Ronan Doherty will start at the front for this one. He took pole position for Heat number 1 in Willow Springs. That was when he was quickest in the qualifying session, of course. He's starting first in this one because he won the last heat. That's how it works here in RTA Virtual Motorsport if you are new to us. And then for the next, the top 8 in this one will then be reversed for the next one in Heat number 3. Overall, though, so Jamal crashing out, spun, and then went to the pit lane. Disappointing with Jamal, who has put a bit of work into this race. He was opting for a bit of coaching by Sean McClemens last night, but then decided nope, he was quick enough. And Jamal, we're going to prove that here in heat number 2. Pace car pulls into the pit lane, and Ronan Doherty will get us underway here in the second of 3 races at Daytona Beach. It's about 80 kilometers north of Orlando, but certainly all the excitement is here tonight in the Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup. We go racing in Daytona. Oscar Mangan looking to immediately stay in front of Jordan Kelly. He does so. Doherty now still clear in towards the international horseshoe, but Jordan Kelly has lost the position to Oscar Mangan. A little bit further behind, Sean McClemens is up 3 spots again on the race start, just like he was in heat number 1. Sean McClemens has mastered these rolling starts here at Daytona International Speedway. Sean McGoldrick fighting with Kevin Joyce now. Joyce on the outside, soon to become the inside for the West Horseshoe. McGoldrick will have to try fish it the long way around the outside. Not an easy move, and certainly not easy when you run onto the grass. Sean McGoldrick not getting the braking nailed. Kevin Joyce was running wide as well, but McGoldrick has not helped himself, and he is now down in towards 14th place, just staying in front of Nathan Healy. Or does he stay in front of Nathan Healy? Nathan has a bit of a slipstream from Lawrence de Salzwa in front. That's going to help him. McGoldrick crucially has the inside line. You'd think Lawrence will drop low. He does. That'll help McGoldrick a little bit, but McGoldrick just didn't get the exit nonetheless. And that's going to allow Nathan Healy in 14th. Very disappointing for Sean McGoldrick, who has a lot of work to do here in this heat. Ran wide in towards turn number 5 and has left himself on the back foot severely. Oscar Mangan, much better run through the chicane this time round. Should stay in front of Jordan Kelly, bearing any disasters on the tri-oval, because he does have a nice slipstream from Ronan Doherty in front. It's a fairly clean first lap once again. Not many incidents, as we see Ian May jump a couple of spots. He's up to 10th spot ahead of Evan Walsh and Simon Hutchings. Jamal Gandor gets ahead of Grace McCallion and David Prunty. Here is Evan Walsh side by side with Lawrence de Salzwa. Oh, Simon Hutchings is going a little bit slowly on the straight. Lawrence almost opting to dip under that yellow line. That would be an illegal pass if it was NASCAR. No idea what the oval rules are here in RTA. We're now 2 abreast, 2 by 2 in towards the first corner, and they go 3 wide for second. Oh, that's very close between Evan Walsh, Nathan Healy, Lawrence de Soswa and Simon Hutchings. Could have been a disaster, and it is as Simon Hutchings spins off in towards the infield. He jumped the first spot briefly for a moment, but he has spun off into the infield and will drop to the bottom of the order. There he is. He jumped up into first because he almost completely cut the international horseshoe, making an even shorter variation of Daytona. Let's have a look at the Gantry TV instant replay then. This is this 2x2 moment. Simon Hutchings leading them in towards the first corner. Ran a little bit wide initially. Was there a bump from Lawrence de Soswa here potentially? No, he just hit the curb and completely went on his own and then went adventuring in towards the infield. As Ronan Doherty, no, not Ronan Doherty, Ronan Hederman. Oh, I'm going to be in trouble for that one. Laughing at that one in the background. It was. It would have been very funny actually if Simon had just continued on and just said, "Yeah, who needs the international horseshoe? I'll just continue on in first place." Admittedly, he wouldn't have finished in first place, but it would have given us a bit of entertainment here on Gantry TV. The actual Ronan Doherty is leading at the front though.
I normally will blame the timing tree, but the timing tree was actually correct there, where he had crossed the track so much he was actually in front of the leaders.
Yes, he completely skipped the timing beam and managed to jump in towards first. The telemetry doing a fantastic job here for one night only. Oscar Mangan, is he going to go for the race lead? No, Oscar Mangan's actually lifted off, and that's going to put him under pressure from Ronan Doherty. Has to nail the braking in towards turn number 1 to avoid the switchback. Speaking of the switchback, Jordan Kelly's fallen victim. Sorry, Ronan Doherty has fallen victim to it, and he now falls behind Oscar Mangan. Got it all out of shape on his own. Mangan now in first place here in this one. Ronan Doherty falls to second, Jordan Kelly in third. I keep getting Ronan and Jordan's liveries mixed up for whatever reason I couldn't tell you, but it is Ronan Doherty in second and Jordan Kelly in third. Oscar Mangan leads now. These top three are moving and shaking, as Kevin Galvin would say, an awful lot here at the front. Another three that are moving and swapping and changing is Lawrence de Soswa, Evan Walsh, and a third car. This third car on this occasion is Sean McGoldrick, who spun at that corner he's just gone through, or ran wide certainly through that corner he's just gone through, and put himself in this position from the early stages. McGoldrick, oh, much better exit than Evan Walsh here onto the banking, and you can just see Evan almost pushing him below the line, but he'd know he'll get in trouble for that one, so he just allows Sean McGoldrick to go through. Nothing really that Evan Walsh could do there, just made the mistake on his own, and Sean McGoldrick was able to sneak through. This time last week, Sean was up in front of Oscar Mangan. How he wishes he was back there now. But he's another blue car to tackle in front, and that is Lawrence de Soswa, who you can see, that's actually Sean McGoldrick who we are looking at, but Lawrence is in front of Sean. There you go, there's the proof. In front of Sean McGoldrick, and doing a good job is Lawrence actually. I know that I certainly was poking a bit of fun at Lawrence for his last to first last week. He's given it a right old go this week. Oscar Mangan in towards the first corner, defending for one of the first times this evening. This he got the move, and just like Ronan Doherty did, he actually ran a little bit wide and has hampered himself a little bit in towards turn number 3. But no move available for Ronan, so he will stick behind for now. Aaron Dalton making a couple of moves in the background. You can see that's just the battle for 18th, unfortunately. But we do cut to it now, and it's a little bit of a melee between himself, Philip Upson, and Colin Carrigan. But Dalton is up and ahead in 18th position for now. 6 minutes into the 15 here, as you see LD sliding a little bit in towards the dog leg. Nothing that will lose him a spot, but will lose him a couple of tenths of a second, and those are crucial tenths of a second, because the closer the car behind you, the closer the car behind is to you, the bigger a slipstream you're giving it as we enter the backstretch. And Lawrence might come a cropper in towards the first corner if Sean McGoldrick stays as close as he is in through the bus stop. Speaking of that corner at the front, Mangan, Doherty and Kelly look to head through it now, a crucial corner to winning at Daytona. You got to nail the bus stop as many times as you can, as Oscar Mangan does it on that occasion, unlike heat number 1. Speaking of the Rolex 24, the man who's might have one of the best sounding American motorsport names ever, Hurley Haywood, the biggest winner here, or the most winningest driver, as they'd say in America for whatever reason, here at Daytona. Tommy Newcomb looking to try and get past Kevin Joyce. Tommy has been very consistent tonight, and I've got to give him his credit because he's been quick and consistent at the same time. He's looking to get back into that 7th place where he qualified and where he finished in the first heat, but he's not able to get past Kevin Joyce. Ian May has fallen to 12th, and you can see him running wide in towards turn number 1, and it was only a marginal mistake for Ian May, but unfortunately that has cost him to lose 3 positions. That's how bunched up that sort of mid-pack is. He's now behind LD, Sean McGoldrick and Evan Walsh, sliding in towards the horseshoe. Go Ian May, but he just about gets his Ford Mustang GT3 under control. It's a heavy car, and when it goes out of shape, it is very difficult to save it, but Ian May doing a good job on this occasion. Mangan still just staying ahead of Ronan Doherty and Jordan Kelly, but he is looking under a lot more pressure than some of the previous laps. I know Ronan Hederman, I've got the right Ronan this time, said at the start of the stream it would be a 30-horse race, but I didn't think it would be quite like this.
Yeah, it's you have a quick look and you kind of go, who are going to be the fast guys here? It's always going to be, say, that top 5 right now. The Clements brothers there right behind as well. It's always going to be these kind of top 5, especially on a roval track like this. They're always going to be very, very strong.
Yeah, we look at them now, heading through the banking of turn number 12 and turn number 13. I'm not sure how they've differentiated these as 2 different corners, but they have. Let's just let the Americans do what they do. As down onto the front stretch, Ronan Doherty very close to Oscar Mangan this time round. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a move. Mangan will not give up this inside. It's time to get creative. If your name is Ronan Doherty, he doesn't. He just lifts off for the time being. Doesn't feel too rushed, still has plenty of time. Has let Mangan make a mistake of his own, though, in towards turn number 2 and 3. This is where Doherty lost the lead. Can he regain it? No, he can't. Oscar Mangan stays in front for the time being. The thing about Jordan Kelly is he'll be a little bit more impatient than Ronan Doherty is. Ronan knows, okay, just have to make the one move, where Kelly knows got to get past Ronan and Oscar, 2 drivers who are very quick and just as quick as Jordan here tonight in this battle. Tell Sean Evan Walsh and Ian May. Sean is quicker than these 3 drivers, but because of the slipstream they're all getting down the back straights and on the oval, Sean just can't shake them. He really needs he really needs Lawrence, Evan and Ian to go battling here if he wants to actually just get away from them and just drop them, and even just give himself a little bit of peace of mind. Speaking of dropping drivers, Sean McClements is trying to give it a good go of dropping Peter McCann. Kevin Joyce in 7th, Tommy Newcomb in 8th. Speaking of Sean McClements, it was his birthday during the week, and I'm not sure if Ronan Hederman saw it, but I was tagged in a video that showed Sean McClements falling asleep to a Gantry TV stream. So there will be no Sean McClements support on this broadcast whatsoever, but we do wish him a happy birthday nonetheless, and we hope he can pick up a good result here in P5. He actually told me to do a Northern Ireland accent on the stream as well, but I think I would probably kill off any viewers that we still have if I tried that. Oscar Mangan, though, at the front of the grid. Speaking of Northern Ireland, it's the Northern Irishman of Ronan Doherty once again who's looking to attack. Is he tactically trying to bump Oscar down the straights to maybe run away from Jordan Kelly a little bit? Usually Ronan would work with Jordan. I wonder, does he feel like he's got a better chance of winning this race if it was just 2 drivers at the front rather than 3? On the last lap, Oscar Mangan and Ronan Doherty both did a 1:45.8. Jordan Kelly did a 56 flat, so they are a little bit quicker. Here's Tommy Newcroft under pressure from Kevin Joyce. He's back up to 7th, got past him while we were looking at that battle from the front, but he is defending from Joyce and Brian McCarthy behind in this battle for 7th. Brian just staying in as a comfortable spectator for now, hoping something went wrong with Kevin Joyce and Tommy Newcroft, potentially in towards this right-hander, but nothing came from it, so he's got to make the move himself. Colin Carrigan gets ahead of Ryan Smith in 17th, and that's Simon Hutchings who gets ahead of Ryan Smith as well, so potentially an issue there for Ryan Smith, although doesn't seem to be any problems, just seems to be lost a couple of spots, maybe got a bit of a bad exit. Still comfortably ahead from Jamal Gandor, so we'll be looking to keep that gap or maybe even retake those spots from Simon Hutchings and Colin Carrigan. Back at our Grand National at the front. It's the 3-horse race. Oscar Mangan, Ronan Doherty and Jordan Kelly. Is that a mistake from Oscar once again? Yes, it is. It is another mistake from Oscar Mangan in through the bus stop. This is at a scarily similar point to where he made the mistake last heat and finished third, losing a potential race win. Now Jordan Kelly's kicked into action. He does not want to finish second to Ronan Doherty once again. Ronan, he knows, still is in the championship fight once that drop round kicks in, because Ronan will not lose too many. He won't lose any points, as opposed to what Jordan and Oscar might lose if they complete every race this season. So Jordan knows, does have to finish in front of Ronan Doherty if he wants to stay in the championship lead. Sorry, no, Oscar's in the championship lead. Jordan wants to finish in front of Ronan if he wants to stay ahead of him in the championship and get closer to that championship lead of Oscar Mangan. Although Jordan had that VR issue last week, he still did get a podium. Finished second in Heat 3 when Oscar Mangan only finished in 6th. So in that heat he outscored him, but he didn't in any of the others. So still lost in the long run did Jordan Kelly. And it's very interesting. It's not one of his dominant seasons that we've seen in previous months. GT4 Cup, he just smashed out of the water. Superformula Lights, it was close, but Jordan always looked like the favourite. He wants to cement a similar position in this season's championship, and he's going about it in all the right ways. Has the inside line here on the banking, down towards the bus stop, or the newly named Le Mans chicane. By new, I mean 2 years ago, but still relatively new in Daytona's history. Ronan Doherty falls just behind. That is a good move, I think, from Ronan, because he'll have the slipstream heading down towards turn number 1 on what will be the last lap of the race. So Ronan is not out of this one just yet. Oscar Mangan, I think, bar any mistakes from Jordan, Ronan is out of this one, which is thoroughly disappointing from him because he's led the majority. But that is what happens when you're not careful in through that chicane. Ronan Hederman said that's the crucial corner here, and Oscar Mangan is proving him very right indeed. Last lap of heat number 2 then, of 3. We've the longest heat of the evening coming up, but all heats equally weighted in terms of points, so you got to give it your all in every single race. Ronan Doherty not able to make the move in towards turn number 1, or is he? Jordan Kelly's ran a little bit wide, and that's given Ronan Doherty a mighty chance heading through turn number 1, 2 and 3, down towards the international horseshoe. Kelly on the inside, Doherty on the outside. They've got to be careful not to tangle, because Oscar Mangan is right behind. They have tangled, a little bit of door-to-door contact, and now Oscar Mangan is back in the fight here in this one. Still Kelly who leads down towards the west horseshoe of turn number 5. Doherty on the outside. A bit of a difficult line here. Oscar Mangan looking to sneak down the inside and take second place and give himself a real chance at still winning this heat. Oscar Mangan, outside line now for him. This is going to be thoroughly difficult to pull off if do so. He's going for both. Oscar Mangan has gone for double in towards the hairpin. He's gone for broke. Has almost got one move. This really depends on where Jordan Kelly places his car and who he gives the slipstream to. Mangan wasn't able to make it stick, and they'll now fall behind Ronan Doherty down towards the bus stop chicane. The corner made multiple mistakes on tonight. He can't afford one because he's real shot here. Ronan Doherty pulls to the outside on Jordan Kelly. We haven't seen anyone flinging around the outside in through here. We won't see it now. Doherty pulls back into line. Will get a toe towards the start-finish line though. Ronan Doherty won the last race by 0.3 of a second. Probably wishing he was the car in front now, but he will still get a monster slipstream on towards the banked corner and on towards the front stretch. Here comes Ronan Doherty. Does he have enough to beat Jordan Kelly? Kelly's going to look to plant inside line. Here comes Doherty, pulls to the outside. Is he close enough? It's a drag race to the checkered stripe. Jordan Kelly just about takes it. 0.12 of a second. Wow, what a finish this one. 3 cars separated by a tenth. The pattern continues between McClemens, McCann and Nukrin. The pattern continues between De Souza and Walt, but it is the car in front that wins it every time. What a cracking end to this one. Jordan Kelly takes his first heat win of the night, and a crucial one at that. Superb stuff indeed, as we see Jamal Gandor lead behind. Oh, sorry, yeah, he is behind Simon Hutchings. I was going to say lead home Simon Hutchings. Saw the track and he was behind, but well, that's because he was actually behind. There's David Prunty in 21st. Rich Murphy comes home in 22nd. We'll have the full race results in a couple of moments, folks. Let us know what you made of that one, because I thought that was an absolute fantastic last lap between three of Ireland's best in the form of Kelly, Doherty, and Mangan. They went battling for the whole final lap, but came home in the same order. So really, the race results don't do that one justice. Here's another slipstream to the line. This is Aaron Dalton and Grace McCallion. Aaron Dalton has gone for the weave line, and it has paid off, actually, there between Dalton and McCallion. And Aaron will lead them home in 23rd position. We'll run through the full race results. Apologies, folks. And then we will get a couple of interviews from a couple of the guys who finished on the podium. Kelly takes the win ahead of Doherty, Mangan, McClements, other McClements, Sean McClements. Then it is McCann, Nukarin, Joyce, McCarthy, McGoldrick, De Soswa, Walsh, May, McDonald, then Murphy, Upson, Carrigan, and Simon Hutchings in 18th position, the Welshman, at least on the top side of the leaderboard. 19th of Ryan Smith, David Prunty, Rich Murphy, Aaron Dalton, Grace McCallion, and Nathan Healy, unfortunately not finishing this one. Let's hear from the drivers who did win the last heat. Jordan Kelly, let's bring him in first. Jordan, congratulations. You lost the drag race to the line in heat number 1, but you won it in heat number 2. Is it even now between yourself and Ronan?
I'd say so. It'll be a nice battle now in the third race, I'd say. But no, it was good. It was a good wee last lap battle there now with the three of us. So hopefully we can get more of that now in the next race.
Next race, reverse grid, of course, you start 8th. Although we are seeing a little bit of overtaking, it's mostly coming from the driver in front making a bit of a mistake. Is it got to be a case of you just got to make the moves when you can, or will it be easier to overtake than I'm certainly expecting?
It's hard to know with the draft. Like Ronan was in the draft there in the last lap. It's just hard to judge if you're gonna be able to get alongside enough going up to the line. But it's hard out in front when you're pushing to the max. Like the tires go off after 3 laps, and then the bus stop. It's so easy to get a slowdown and stuff. So it could change very easily with all that happening.
And then you fought with Ronan and Oscar in heat number 1 and in heat number 2. Are you expecting it to be the same, or is there anyone else you could pick out maybe who could benefit from this reverse grid?
I think Sean Dillon should be up there, especially in the reverse grid now once they be able to stay in the drafts and stuff, I'd say. So we'll see how that goes, but it'll be an interesting one from the three of us coming from a wee bit back.
Jordan, thank you very much for joining us, and we do hope to hear you again after the third race.
Thanks, Evan.
Let's hear from the second place man now, Ronan Doherty, his thoughts on that one. Ronan, hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Jordan said he is not sure how the slipstream is going to be coming off that bus stop chicane. What's your make on it after losing a race narrowly by 11 hundredths?
11,000. Sure. No, it is strong. Well, like I had a bit more of a run that time because I forced them narrow into the bus stop. I made a slight mistake and slowed it down too much on my entry into the bus stop, and that probably cost me the race win. But also backed Oscar up a bit too. He might have been dangerous in the double slip. No, it's strong, but because it's the baseline setup and the 6th gear isn't like the IMSA stack for Daytona, it's not as strong as it could be.
I know you weren't here last week, but certainly in previous weeks we have seen this car being a little bit difficult to drive. Is it better around sort of a more endurance-suited circuit?
Yeah, I mean this track definitely works the tires less. The Road America round felt genuinely like driving in the rain in real life. The temperatures are still high. Like it's still like at the end of the race, I ran wide and gave Jordan the lead. And Oscar made a few mistakes and stuff. It's the tires definitely go off, but it's not as bad as Road America now.
I asked Jordan this as well. I'm going to ask the same to you. In terms of the reverse grid, what are you thinking in terms of overtaking? Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be difficult?
Yes, it's not going to be easy. I don't know, man. I think first couple of corners are going to be very, very important. Because it's quite easy to defend around here. Unless someone makes a mistake. I'm not used to being as far back. A lot of the problems sometimes whenever, especially around a slipstream track like this, when you're racing with Oscar and Jordan, you sort of learn each other for each race. But a lot of these guys, now that I might have to go through, haven't been racing against them, so I'll be a bit more cautious. But look, we'll see how it goes.
Ronan, thank you very much. We're going to let you go and get ready for the third heat, and we do hope to hear from you after.
Cheers, lads.
I do believe I have talked for too much, and I don't think we have time to hear from Oscar, unless Ronan... No, we don't, because we have 10 seconds to go on the timing screen anyways until the warm-up is finished. So we'll have to wait and see if Oscar can get a podium in the third heat to hear from him. Starting grid for this one will be coming up on your screens shortly, folks. While we wait on that, we'd like to remind you to check out our title sponsors for this series, Motorsport.ie, and make sure you're subscribing to us here on Gantry TV. And of course, RTA Virtual Motorsport, Ireland's premier sim racing series, which has action like this all year round. Even when we don't have one of our championships going, there is the Endurance Series. Here's your qualifying, well, no, not qualifying order, your starting grid for the next heat. It is Kevin Joyce, who starts on pole ahead of Tommy Nukaran in second. I'm very intrigued to see how this goes for Tommy, because I think he's been really good tonight. Peter McCann in third, ahead of Sean McClemens in fourth, Dylan fifth, Oscar Mangan sixth, Ronan Doherty seventh, ahead of Jordan Kelly in eighth, Brian McCarthy in ninth, Sean McGoldrick in 10th, Lawrence Salzwa then starts in 11th, ahead of Evan Walsh in 12th. Then we look down to 13th is Ian May, John McDonald in 14th, Andrew Murphy 15th, Philip Upson in 16th, Colin Carrigan starts in 17th, ahead of Simon Hutchings in 18th, Jamal Gandor 19th, Ryan Smith then will start 20th, ahead of David Prunty, Rich Murphy, Aaron Dalton, Grace McCallion, and Nathan Healy. Ronan, you of course have had more experience maybe around longer distance at this track, but how do you think the overtaking is going to be tonight? In Heat 3, of course.
I think I'm going to stick exactly what I said the whole way through. That bus stop was what served us up pretty much all of the crucial overtakes at the start. With the reverse grid, however, I can see the top three from the first two races catching up very, very quickly. Maybe with what Jordan said as well, I completely agree on the McClemens being in the mix there as well.
Yes, there was a bit of a clear pace advantage, it seemed, from Kelly, Mangan and Doherty. But reverse grids always provide a treat, especially when you've got a little bit of a shuffle off with Kevin Joyce and Tommy Nukaran being on the front row. Two drivers who wouldn't usually finish first and second, but maybe they have a trick up their sleeve tonight with good pace combined with good racecraft. The Porsche safety car will peel into the pit lane, and Kevin Joyce will get us underway for one final time here at Daytona Beach. We go racing in Florida. It's great start from the third place man and from Sean McClemens round the outside. Sean McClemens and Peter McCann are going in towards the first corner. We see moves from Dylan McClemens and Ronan Doherty. Ronan Doherty in sixth, looking to try get up to fifth very early on, and now attack Tommy Nukaran. Oscar Mangan looking to follow through. Dylan McClemens is being steamrolled past here by the top three from the previous two races. McClemens has made a bit of a mistake there, and now under pressure from Evan Walsh. Dylan McClemens' Montreal pace not quite transferring to the dry Daytona road course. Kevin Joyce still leads ahead of Sean McClemens in second and Peter McCann in third. Tommy Nukaran in fourth. Evan Walsh now does get past McClemens in that battle for eighth. Sean McGoldrick in 10th. Brian McCarthy 11th. Lawrence de Salzwa in 12th. Here comes Dylan McClemens once again, trying to fight back past Evan Walsh. It's Team DDR versus Team A. I know he's not here tonight, but I feel I have to say it. Rory O'Shea in the High Prix. Just have to get that out of the way. We say it once a week. No High Prix representatives here tonight, of course. Kevin Joyce now will lead in towards the bus stop. Or will he? I was going to say he'll lead to the bus stop for the first time. But Sean McClemens is getting very close. And Sean McClemens will lead in towards the bus stop for the first time. No, he won't. Just backs out. Thanks, Sean. You made a fool of me there. As he put off heading through that bus stop chicane. There's Tommy Nukaran. Tommy, oh no, it is a horror mistake from the finishman. And he will fall down the order after what's been such a strong leading him. Down very high on the bank. Problem maybe for him as well, potentially a slowdown penalty. Here is Oscar Mangan fighting with Jordan Kelly, a battle we've seen many times, and the outside overtaking might be a little bit difficult as we see Oscar Mangan on the inside, Jordan Kelly on the outside. No change there, but Walsh and McClements will go scrapping once again. Now look at this between Dylan McClements and Evan Walsh. McClements on the inside towards the international horseshoe. Ronan Doherty will look far right behind. As I wonder, will Dylan give him a bit of a slipstream? Yes, he will. I was going to see Dylan pull over to the right hand side and try and help Ronan Doherty down towards the left-hander. It is Ronan Doherty on the inside. Yeah, gets the job done. Apologies, folks, if you're hearing me lag a little bit. Hopefully that should only be just for a couple of seconds. Seems to have stabilized now. I was noticing the red, just as I said, I was seeing the red bar ping up in the Discord columns up once again. So hopefully you can see the action on track anyways. That is the most important thing, because it is fantastic for now. Ian May and Sean McGoldrick battling down towards the bus stop chicane. McGoldrick on the outside in the very unique livery. Ian May on the inside. It will still be Ian May on the inside and ahead by Kevin Joyce, staying in front of Sean McClements and leading here in RTA. This would be something else if he was able to take the win, but very long way to go. 20-minute heat, in fact, to go for him if he wants to try and be victorious around this Daytona International Speedway. Here's Oscar Mangan right behind Peter McCann in the battle for third spot. Here comes Sean McClements for the move around the outside. This is a difficult move. Can't afford to get your braking wrong here, otherwise you're off into the grass on the exit of the corner. Just backs out of it, Sean. Didn't feel like he had enough overspeed to pull that one. Now Peter McCann, Jordan Kelly side by side, both attacking Oscar Mangan in towards the right-hander. Mangan is the inside line in the both of them though, so it should be okay through here. He is, and he stays in front for now. Ronan Doherty is in 6th and catching up to this battle for 5th, or for 4th and 5th I should say, so he'll be back into play sooner rather than later. We're looking behind Sean McClements on towards Oscar Mangan, and Mangan and Kelly, they're up at the front now. It's not like they're cutting through back markers, and Joyce and McClements are holding their own here, so we could have 2 more horses added to the derby here at Daytona International Speedway. 4.5 minutes gone down so far, so still 14 and a half left to race. Plenty of time. Probably too early to be calling anything still in this one, because it is the longest of the 3 heats here at a track usually suited for endurance racing. Kelly not able to make a move on Mangan, although looking close to doing so. I don't think they're really going for moves in towards the bus stop, which is a really smart decision, because as Ronan has said, crucial corners. Wow, that's just how close that championship contenders are. Heading through the banking, Jordan Kelly bumper to bumper with Oscar Mangan, as Oscar's going to pop out a line to try and get past Sean McClements here in towards the first corner. McClements on the inside still has the tow from Kevin Joyce, but Oscar Mangan's been getting the bump from Jordan Kelly behind. Kevin Joyce might become a little bit of a hindrance to Sean McClements' defence here in towards the first corner, and Sean McClements has to lift off to avoid picking up damage. Is he able to be late on the brakes and defend this one? Oh yes, he is. Sean McClements was looking down and out of it, but he stayed in front of both of them here. Oscar Mangan still will be trying to fight. McClements sees attack as the best form of defence. He'll try flick it round the outside of Kevin Joyce here. Joyce doing a fantastic job to not get flustered with the almost melee happening right behind him. Oscar Mangan tucked into the slipstream of Joyce now, and Sean McClements is on the outside. McClements still on the outside. This could be a little bit of a problem for McClements, just like we saw it for Sean McGoldrick early on. He keeps it on the asphalt, but is not able to keep second position. Might even lose third to Jordan Kelly, who has the outside line, which is usually the preferred one through this corner, because you can run it a little bit wide. McClements not able to pin the throttle as early as Jordan Kelly is, but he does have the shorter line onto the banking, but will fall behind. Mangan and Kelly eventually dispatch one. Kevin Joyce, the next target in front. As we see immediately, Sean McClements looking to fight back, looking to stay with Jordan Kelly. Kevin Joyce is still in front of Oscar Mangan, but I think Oscar might just have enough down the straight to get in front of Kevin Joyce, although admittedly the exit of the bus stop has not really been Oscar Mangan's forte tonight. He's a bit quicker in the first and second sectors, than he is in the third, albeit the the fifth sector here on iRacing is pretty much a straight. So that's a bit of blinking as the cars all disappeared. Here is Kevin Joyce under a lot of pressure from the championship leader, Mangan. No move on for now as we see Sean McClements once again tried a long way around the outside. He's under pressure from cousin Ronan Doherty now. He's looking to overtake. Can't do it into here as we see Peter McCann looking to get involved in this one. Peter fancies a shot at the front here in this one. McClements and Doherty now side by side. Sean McClements will be just hoping for a lapse piece almost at this point. He's been battling since the race went green. McClements on the outside once again in towards the West Horseshoe. Doherty has the inside. Doherty once again as Sean McClements will go around, and that's the danger of that outside line. The grip is, there's clearly a gap in grip from the inside to the outside, and now it is the longest wait of his life as Sean McClements waits to pull back onto the circuit. It's just more disappointment for Sean McClements, and I know he says he's cursed when I'm here. Honestly, I'm starting to believe it because he really just doesn't get a second of luck. Lawrence de Salzwell up to 8th, gets past Brian Bumblebee McCarthy for 9th spot. And Kevin Joyce under pressure from Oscar Mangan. I didn't think Kevin was going to be leading after 6.5 minutes in this race, so he surprised me. Can he surprise us even more and stay in front? He's got a poor exit out of the bus stop though. But crucially, Jordan Kelly's also looking to go scrapping here with Oscar Mangan, side drafting round the tri-oval and looking to try and stay in, or looking to try get in front, I should say. Hasn't been in front of Oscar Mangan here in this one. And I tell you what, it's working nicely. You don't need a slipstream from the car in front. You can side draft and get the same sort of straight line speed. This car usually with a 516 brake horsepower, but it will have a lot more straight line speed because of the nature of this tow. Kelly on the outside of Oscar Mangan. This has not really been a move that's worked so far tonight. It won't work again. Mangan staying in front of Jordan Kelly, but Kevin Joyce, crucially, still in the lead of this race. Oh, take a look at this one. That's John McDonald gone wide, almost pushed wide. They were 3 wide at the corner. Somehow they all run wide. Simon Hutchings, I believe that is, sneaking through almost up to 12th spot as he is just behind Ian May. John McDonald under pressure now from Colin Carrigan as Nathan Healy gains a spot as well. There's contact between Joyce and Mangan, and Kevin Joyce from the race lead, heartbreakingly, has fallen down to 4th. Looked like Oscar Mangan nudged Kevin Joyce a little bit. We might have to have another look at that one potentially on a Gantry TV replay in a couple of moments time, but Kevin Joyce falling down the order, thoroughly disappointing there. And there's a problem for Ronan Doherty, it seems, or he just ran wide or something. Yeah, that is awful for poor Kevin Joyce. It's not a major touch, but it certainly seemed to be a touch. I wonder, was there a little bit of net code involved? It looked like there was car-to-car contact from my 2 eyes anyways, but as you'll have learned from the 4 or whatever seasons it is, that's not always right. As we will have a look here on the instant replay and see, confirm if there was contact between Mangan and Joyce. Oscar got a great run out of the horseshoe, down through the dog leg, and was just looking to get in front of Kevin Joyce. Yeah, there's contact there. There is contact there. Kevin broke a lot earlier than Oscar Mangan. I'm not sure if he left Oscar an awful lot of space on the outside. If he has a second, I wondered what does Ronan think about that?
Yeah.
Look at this.
I think that Kevin braked a small bit early and just cut Oscar off. To be honest, I won't see that as a massive incident. I'd say it's going to be a bit of a racing incident. He did brake a bit early. I don't know. It's very hard to tell. But again, will they put the blame on the car behind? Very possibly.
Yeah, the RTA stewards usually very fair in incidents like that. And if there was not much that Oscar could do in their opinion, they usually won't penalise him, or certainly not penalise him too heavy in the form of a big points deduction. But that'll all be sorted out in the stewards' room after the race. They'll have all the drivers' telemetries and stuff to get a fair verdict on that one. But I digress, and we carry on here at Daytona. Mangan and Kelly in the battle for the race lead. And look who's in 3rd. Well, it's Ronan Doherty. So we are back to where we were. A bit of deja vu for all the viewers watching at home. So this is how it's been in heat number 1 and 2. And we said there was a bit of a clear pace differential between them and the rest of the field, and that has come to the forefront of heat number 3 here. Dylan McClelland's in 4th, so technically Jordan's still right in saying the McClements are up there. Sean would be up there, but unfortunately had that spin at turn number 5, which he'll be thoroughly disappointed in himself for. About 8 minutes to go then in this one. We saw it come down to the last seconds last heat, so it could well do that again. Jordan Kelly into the slipstream of Oscar Mangan. Oscar is not going to give up this line in towards the first corner. He's not going to give up the inside, and he would be a fool to, because the outside just hasn't been working for Jordan Kelly. Can that change now? Brakes late? No, he's going to go for the up and under if anything, but not even really an overtake, more just taking his racing line. Great coverage for Gantry TV there. We got a right close-up look at the Gantry TV sticker on Jordan Kelly's front bumper, so Jordan, we appreciate that. As here is Evan Walsh fighting with Peter McCann. These two have been in an awful lot of tussles tonight, Walsh and McCann, so I'm sure they'll be enjoying it. Two drivers who usually like a good scrap and a good race, and two drivers who have been in plenty of scraps with the man behind, Lawrence de Soswa. LD's had a good race tonight. Our driver of the day from Texas, as controversial as some might say that is, but he's had a very good race tonight here in Daytona, coming from the back of the grid. Simon Hutchings, oh, that is controversial, certainly. Contact with himself and Andrew Murphy in through the dog leg, and Simon is completely out of shape. Oh, brilliant reactions from Philip Upson there to avoid that one. Oh, he could have been in a lot of trouble if there was contact, could still well be in a lot of trouble. I think I'm not sure if he was completely out of control, but there was no brakes being held there, that's for sure. And if it was Philip Upson, I believe it was Philip Upson who just piled on the brakes. Round of applause from me for that one, because that was very quick reactions to see that car flicking back onto the circuit. But battle reigns on there, as here is Brian McCarthy under a bit of pressure from Sean McGoldrick. Sean's top 5 in every heat this season has gone out the window. That unfortunately went in heat number 2, and he's looking to try regain it back here in heat number 3. Oscar Mangan once again takes an inside line in towards turn 1, but Jordan Kelly's a lot closer here. Jordan is a lot closer, and he's actually side by side into the braking zone. Hasn't been side by side in the braking zone in the last few laps. The result though remains the same. That was Walsh and McCann. Oh, Peter McCann has been sent to the shops, and Evan Walsh gets the up and under. Lawrence de Soswa follows through, and there is a cleanup needed at turn number 1, because McCann has been sent by the switchback from Evan Walsh. I think it was more just McCann made a bit of a mistake into the braking zone, but that won't stop Evan Walsh from bragging about it, certainly. I know Evan Walsh, he will be reminding Peter of that one for the next week or so at least, and McCann will be fighting this one back, because I don't think he particularly wants to finish behind either of the drivers in front. Will certainly want to finish in a healthy 5th position. Top 3 though remain the same, slipstreaming their way to the checkered flag, but what order will they be in? I think it would be very fitting for Oscar Mangan to win this one, because that would mean Doherty won the first one, Kelly won the second, Mangan wins the third, but Jordan and Ronan definitely don't agree with my thoughts, and they'll want to win it for themselves. Kelly looked like he had enough straight line speed to go for it in towards the bus stop, but doesn't. Just sticks behind, and he wants to stay right on the gearbox of the car in front. Slipstream his way down towards the first corner. He's getting closer every lap, is Jordan Kelly. I know it seems like it's the exact same thing in towards turn number 1 every time, but Jordan is just getting that little bit closer. And if he gets that little bit closer every time, eventually he'll end up in front. Ronan has had a good lap here as well. It'll be interesting to see the lap times as they cross this start-finish line, but more importantly, it'll be interesting to see, will Jordan Kelly try anything different? Oscar drifts up, almost gives up that inside line to Jordan Kelly. That would be very, very crucial if he did give up that inside line, because it would invite Jordan to have a dive down the inside. I said Ronan had a very good lap. He did have a very good lap. Fastest lap of the race, 1:44.9. And it was a 1:45.7 for Oscar Mangan, and it was a 1:45.8 for Jordan Kelly. So significantly quicker there for Ronan Doherty. Here's Peter McCann, has got back past de Soswa, looking to get back past Walsh. Evan Walsh just runs him wide out of the corner, and that invites Lawrence de Soswa for the switchback. That might actually allow LD to get past both of them in towards the dog leg. This is where it went wrong for Hutchings and Murphy. Doesn't want to be a repeat of that one. De Soswa gives them a wide berth, and rightly so. LD will end up in front here. Great move on Evan Walsh round the outside of the dog leg. Lawrence de Soswa was very brave to keep it pinned. Well, keep it close to pinned as possible around the outside of turn number 4, and he is in front. Battle for 5th, though. I can't imagine this one will be just slipstreaming in towards turn number 1 like we're seeing Mangan, Kelly and Doherty do. It's all kicking off here in the dying embers at Daytona. We have about 3 minutes to go in this one, so 1 or 2 more laps at least. Mangan is heading in towards the bus stop. I think it'll be 2 more laps, but we'll get closer confirmation of that, closer to the start-finish line. Here is Soswa just leading McCann and Walsh in through this one. It's a very boring race for poor Dylan McClemens. The action is happening about 4 seconds up the road in front of him and about 4 seconds down the road behind him. So he's having a little bit of a quiet one in that, I was going to say battle for 4th, but he's on his own in 4th, isn't he? In that race for 4th. Kelly once again trying the same thing on Oscar Mangan and hasn't worked once again. Jordan is going to have to get creative if he wants to overtake Oscar Mangan. Oscar is no fool to this battling, and you can see Jordan is starting to get creative. Jordan also knows that Oscar tends to make a mistake at this point in the race, heading through the bus stop, so that could still be awaiting him. Here's Sean McGoldrick introducing himself to the mid-pack fight, and McGoldrick trying to fish it around the outside on Evan Walsh. Sean McGoldrick has finished on the podium at least once every week. He's a little bit off that now, but he still wants a strong result nonetheless, and that means getting past Evan Walsh ASAP. You can see him going for the outside, not going to make the move stick around there. If anything, he'll end back up in the grass where he was in heat number 2. Jordan Kelly, though, just biding his time, is the GT4 Cup champion and the Super Formula Lights champion and the multiple-time Formula V champion. If those honours are not enough to show that he probably knows what he's doing, well, we can certainly see it out on the track. A little bit further back, in towards the bus stop. But let's see, is Oscar Mangan able to take this as smooth as possible? Yeah, he is. He's not making the same errors that he was earlier on. Oscar, we did know that he didn't have a lot of practice, and I suppose the early mistakes probably come down to that, where he's looking much more in control now. Jordan Kelly, though, with a great slipstream, a great toe once again, but how beneficial is it? Looking to go for the outside line is Jordan Kelly once again. He wants that inside, but it's just Oscar Mangan is not giving up. Don't think Jordan Kelly is satisfied going for the inside line, and you can see him hunting for that inside line every single time. Don't think he's satisfied going for the outside, I should say. Apologies, folks. He wants that inside line, but not able to get it. This will be the last lap of the race here at Daytona. The white flag is out. The checker will fall soon, as Peter McCann is looking to get past Lawrence de Soswa in the battle for 5th. Peter McCann just behind for the time being. This one's going to go right down to the checkered flag, as is the battle for the race win. Let us know your driver of the day nominees as well, folks. We're interested to hear those, but that matters not for the next minute and a half at least. All that matters is seeing how these positions fare out. One man who has had a great race is actually Jamal Gandor. We were wondering what happened from him at the back, but he's got right back up the order, as has Nathan Healy. Nathan gaining 15 positions here in this one. Up the front, it's about 0.3 of a second separating them. Oscar Mangan and Jordan Kelly, 5 positions gained for Oscar, 6th gain for Jordan. Ronan has only gained 4, but they've all had to cut through the pack. Lawrence de Soswa's gained 6 since heat number 2. Just putting the feelers out there for our driver of the day. But here we go then. It's that crucial run to the line once again. Doherty beat Kelly in a straight line speed run to the line in heat number 1. Kelly beat Doherty in heat number 2. Now the other two will have a go. Oscar Mangan and Jordan Kelly down towards the start-finish line. We're over 20 minutes gone. This is it. This will decide who takes heat number 3. Jordan Kelly pulls to the outside line. He's got a good run here on Oscar Mangan. Is Jordan Kelly going to do it on the outside? Jordan Kelly's ahead. Jordan Kelly has waited 20 minutes to make this move. He's made it at the crucial time, and it'll be 2 wins tonight for Jordan Kelly in his championship endeavour. Oscar Mangan will not take a win here at Daytona, and finally the car behind will take the slipstream win. Lawrence de Soswa comes home in 5th in that battle. Here is Ian May and John McDonald side by side once again. There's a lot of runs to the line. I think the car behind might take this one as well, actually. Ian May going to try flick around the outside. Jordan, though, bided his time nicely in through the bus stop and was able to take the win over Oscar Mangan. finally, I mean, he was going for the sideline for what felt like an hour in that race. I know it was only a 20-minute race, so he couldn't. Here is your pole sitter, though, unfortunately, Kevin Joyce, who his race really fell by the wayside after that bump. He will take a nice move around the outside, nonetheless, on Rich Murphy, or Willie Murphy, pushing him to the high side. No, Kevin Joyce does take that one. And really a job well done indeed. I tell you what, though, Ronan Hederman, you said the bus stop was going to be the crucial corner. How right you were. It's not often someone in this RTA commentary box gets something right like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was actually going to say exactly what you said a moment ago. I thought Oscar was going to make the same mistake coming towards the end of the race as well with the bus stop, but what I could see was Jordan was, as much as he was trying to make a move into that turn one, I feel like he was biding his time, knowing, like, I know Jordan and I've seen Jordan on this track before. He was waiting for the last lap run around that oval to get him at the line. He's very, very good at that, and he's done it before. Even back in the IDMC days, he's done it. So it doesn't surprise me. He's after coming out with a win by, what was it, 1600ths?
Yeah, I think the first heat was actually the one that was decided by the largest winning margin. Very close indeed. Yeah, I thought Jordan was certainly waiting for something on the last lap. I'm not sure he would have liked to wait as close, but he is a bit of a master taking these runs to the line. We'll hear from him in a couple of moments, but to run through your final results, it is Jordan Kelly who takes the win ahead of Oscar Mangan in second, Ronan Darty in third, Dylan McClemens in fourth, Lawrence de Soswa in fifth, ahead of Peter McCann in sixth, Evan Walsh takes seventh, Sean McGoldrick in eighth, Jamal Gandor in ninth, ahead of Nathan Healy in 10th, Brian McCarthy in 11th, Andrew Murphy in 12th, Tommy Nukaran in 13th, Ian May in 14th, then David Prunty in 15th, Philip Upton in 16th, Colin Carrigan in 19th, Colin Carrigan in 17th, apologies, John McDonald in 18th, Sean McClements in 19th, Ryan Smith 20th, Kevin Joyce 21st, Rich Murphy 22nd, ahead of Grace McCallion, Simon Hutchings, and Aaron Dalton. Let's hear from your podium then, starting, of course, with Jordan Kelly, your race winner from Heat 3. Jordan, you weren't sure about the slipstream, but the slipstream was sure about you, and it's given you that win in heat number 3. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah, that was a good race. It was more of a race to get through the pack than anything else, but we managed that kind of, so wasn't too bad. But I was behind Oscar enough that I knew where I needed to be to slipstream him to the line. So it was an interesting one because he tried to back it up a wee bit, but it just was too close, like with the toe and stuff. So that was good. Oscar had good piss there. It was just a matter of staying the toe, but it's one of them tracks that it's just play the long game really. But it was kind of just a bit of luck at the same time where it was, so wasn't too bad.
In terms of the championship then, you've outscored Oscar in every race tonight. Surely you're happy with that? Or satisfied at least?
That's all we can do really, because Oscar, I know from Oscar's driving style, he's got to be consistent, so it's just a matter of getting as many points as he can, like, so we'll see how it goes from there. Like.
And then a bit of a different challenge next week, Road America. Is that track suited to Jordan Kelly's driving style?
I don't. I'd like to say yeah, but I won't even find out because I'm away on holidays next week, so that'll be my drop round, I'd say. So that's.
Well, there we go. We won't see what Road America suits Jordan Kelly's driving style. But congratulations on the 2 wins, anyways, Jordan. And I'm sure we'll hear from you when you're back.
Will do, Evan. Appreciate it.
Run to the line is what decided it for Jordan Kelly. Let's hear to the man he beat then, Oscar Mangan. Oscar, hello, can you hear me?
Yep, all clear.
No win tonight, but still consistent points. Is it a happy evening for you?
Yeah, I'd say the second race or the third race, the final, I don't really know what I could have done better than that. I just couldn't get away with the slipstream, and I was trying a different tactic every time out of the bus stop to see what would work, that Jordan wouldn't be able to be ahead by the finish line. And on the last lap I tried completely just parking it, going about a gear lower and everything, and 30k slower, and he still got it. So couldn't know. With the first 2 races, just stupid mistakes, kept getting a slowdown and the entry to the bus stop, and just gave away the lead twice essentially. But I mean, by the time we got to the finish line, it seemed like the slipstream was huge there. So I don't know if I would have gotten the win, but definitely should have got second in both of them. But still good points.
Yeah, just speaking of the bus stop, it seemed to be one of like very few corners you struggled with on the circuit. Is that maybe due to the fact that you didn't get as much practice maybe as Jordan or Ronan, or was it just the nature of this track being difficult?
It's something new to me. I've driven this track. I've done loads of 24s here, and I've just never come across. They've updated the track limits there a couple of months ago, and I haven't driven the track since. So I didn't really get much time to prepare for this one. I kind of hopped in pretty late, so just kind of getting used to it. I got used to it by the end, but still, yeah, no, it's crazy strict. I know a lot of people are up in arms about it, but it is what it is. It's the same for everyone.
And then Jordan said just before you joined, he said your driving is always consistent. Is that going to be the key to maybe winning a championship, or do you want to win more races?
I hope that's the key. I'd like to win more. I think the next couple of tracks I'm a bit more familiar with. Mid-Ohio is usually pretty good for me, and the same for Laguna Seca is the finale. So I'm hoping that that's one that we can be competitive on and see what happens.
Oscar, thank you very much. Congratulations tonight, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
Thanks, guys.
And now let's hear from the third place man, Ronan Doherty. Ronan, did you enjoy watching that battle for the lead?
Yeah, fair. It's kind of hard to do anything from third because the guy in second's always got a stronger slipstream than you. Because the sixth gear is a bit short, but no, it was good to watch. I was just sort of hoping they'd come together or something, and didn't quite pay off. But no, look, I'm happy enough with today's results. Like, there's not massive points differences for the top three positions. So happy I kept on the road anyway.
Yeah, cutting through the field, was it as difficult maybe as you thought? We saw a couple of scary moments involving yourself, Jordan and Oscar, but for the most part you got through pretty quickly.
I mean, yeah, I actually had the best start. I think I was up in the fifth after the first two corners, and then coming into the bus stop, I don't know what happened, but the guy in front of me started sliding, and I basically had to take to the grass to avoid him, or there'd be a massive crash, and that gave me a slowdown penalty, and I was back to 8th or 9th, I think, and the other guys were maybe 4th, and I knew at that point it was going to be hard to win because you kind of want to be in the top two. But I was happy enough from a drive back through, made some nice moves, and everyone was fairly clean, so it was a good night's racing.
4 rounds into the season, or 3 for yourself, of course. Drivers getting well used to the car now. What's your take on it? Are you enjoying driving this car?
Yeah, it's really fun to drive. To be fair, it does chew the tires, of course, but that's just another thing you've got to learn and adapt to. But yeah, I'm enjoying the car, and I think it lends itself to better racing, and I anticipate it as well. I think the racing tonight was pretty good. I know maybe it was a little bit boring watching maybe the front for the viewers until the last lap or two, but that's just the way you have to play it.
It's all right, Ronan. They got to listen to me for 2 hours. No complaints from the viewers. But thank you very much for joining us, Ronan. Congratulations. And look, without a doubt, we'll be seeing you again soon.
Right. Cheers, lad.
Great to hear from the top 3 there, of course. And now it is the difficult time to decide a driver of the day. Obviously, you could go for Jordan, Oscar, or Ronan, but we like to go for someone a little bit different. I'm going to put a bit of a shout out there. I'm sure Ronan is going to have a suggestion as well. And of course, if you're still watching, folks, make sure to get a suggestion in the stream chat. We had some great shouts last week. I think Tommy Newcoren is up there.
Yeah, I think that's a completely fair one. I know he didn't have the best of races, down 11 places in the last race, but he had serious pace in qualifying, and in race 1 and 2 seemed very much on pace. And yeah, I have a tendency to agree. Nobody else. Maybe Nathan Healy for up 15 places in the last race, but I think Tommy's the shout here.
I'm going to do it for once. I'm going to make the decision. Tommy Newcoren, driver of the day here. I'll probably be shouted at that in the broadcast office chat afterwards. But Tommy Newcoren, driver of the day for me. I think very solid performance. Consider this season, maybe not had the best of pace in some rounds, some bad luck in others, like the Circuit of the Americas. But I'm going to go for Tommy Newgren because very steady performance in qualifying, race 1, race 2, and then a spin of some sort in race 3, whether it was bad luck or whether it was under his own accord. We'll never find out. Unless he gets a penalty for it, then we know. He hit someone, probably. But Tommy Newgren, driver of the day, to round us out here tonight. And what an evening it was at Daytona International Speedway. We had 2 different winners. Could have been 3, but Oscar Mangan was pipped just before the line. We have Road America coming up next Tuesday night, folks. And I tell you what, you're not going to want to miss that one for the world. 9 o'clock here on Gantry TV, as always, for Ireland's premier sim racing series, the Motorsport.ie Mustang America's Cup. A big thanks to Motorsport.ie, of course, for sponsoring that one. And we very much thank them for their the trophies as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to say we thank them for the trophies. We thank them very much for their support. But another thing is they're providing trophies for those who win the feature races. And it's actually been a different person every time, I believe. So that is interesting as well. But folks, 9 o'clock next Tuesday, Road America on Gantry TV. You know where to find the best racing you'll see on a Tuesday. Thank you very much for joining myself and Ronan Hederman here tonight, as always. And we do hope you join us again soon. Stay safe, stay well, and slán go fóill.